only made 3 videos so far about the new 151, 4 including this one, but they are 10% of my total watch time for the past year, so I guess you guys really like it. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, the new 151 is an ongoing project to redesign all 151 of the original Pokémon. The main house of the project is over on Tumblr. I'm one of the lead designers, and I also make all of the vintage Sugimori style art. My friend Infinipede is the other main designer, so some designs are mostly mine, some are mostly theirs, many of them are a collaboration. And we also have a small group of friends to give us feedback and occasionally contribute with designs of their own. If you haven't seen the other videos that I've done about the new 151, you can check out the playlist here or in the end card. Today I'm going to talk about our process for the Nidoran, Clefairy, and Vulpix lines. Redesigning the Nidoran family was difficult. They are the most generic kaiju of all of the Pokemon. They might be inspired by Baragon, which is itself a pretty generic kaiju. There are influences from real animals like rabbits and rhinos, but they are very vague. So that's not a lot of really solid direction for us. So we wanted to take those real animal influences and make them a little bit more obvious, and we also wanted to bring the male and female sides of the family together more, but also emphasize their differences. If they were introduced today, Nidoran would not be 2 separate Pokemon with separate dex entries and numbers and everything. They would be a single Pokemon with very strong sexual dimorphism, think Meowstic or Frillish, and a gender-based split evolution line. So to emphasize their relationships and their differences, we designed each stage as counterparts. We made Nidoran very bunny-like, with just some rhino-esque features, plus the spines, which are mostly based on porcupines. And sticking to the original concept, the male is much pointier with more and bigger spines. Then the middle stages lean a little bit more towards hare and rhino than bunny, but overall they keep the same trends. But Nidoking and Nidoqueen really emphasize their different roles. The motherly, protective one versus the aggressive, hunting one. Nidoqueen gets wide hips and an ample bosom because they are symbols of fertility, which we felt was appropriate for Nidoqueen's image, even though Nidoqueen can't breed, because honestly, let's be real, the fact that Nidoking can breed, but only the young female Nidoran can lay eggs, is messed up on multiple levels, and we didn't really want to go there in the design. And the ample bosom doesn't have those bra-shaped breastplates. The single breastplate means that the memories are there, but they're not emphasized. And then Nidoking's design is all about raw power. It has giant horns, very large spines, and a massive tail. This thing is clearly compensating for something. And you may have noticed the different stances of the Nidorina, Nidorino, Nidoking, and Nidoqueen art. The idea was that all of them would be able to walk both on 2 and on 4 legs. But frankly, I'm not super satisfied with how these turned out. Partly, I think that the designs are still missing something to make them a little bit more exciting. Maybe another accent color would have helped. We also considered subverting the gender roles, but we decided not to because gender roles seem pretty tied to the Nido family concept overall. But I don't know, maybe that would have helped. But I think the biggest thing is that I'm just not happy with my drawings. The Nidorans look fine, and I'm happy with Nidorino, but the others, especially Nidoking, just feel off. The proportions, the positions, the color, the shading, everything. But when you're doing a big project like the new 151 with 151 Pokemon, not every single one is going to be a winner. Since many of the design changes we made to Pikachu were to reverse its mascotization, for Clefairy we decided to do the opposite. Clefairy is like the mascot that could have been, so we decided to make the same kinds of changes that Pikachu has seen over the years. So the head is more separated from the body, the limbs are more defined, the whole thing is just more anthropomorphized overall, and we also gave it the same kind of sexual dimorphism in the tail that Pikachu has. We also wanted to emphasize its moon fairy side more, so we gave it bigger wings and a crescent moon-ish tail. Clefable is basically the same thing, but the body shape is a bit more based on Audino, and it still has the gender difference in the tail, but this time it's more of a star motif than moon. The pattern on its belly is supposed to represent the phases of the moon, and it was meant to be white on the pink background, but I realized that just doesn't work so well in this kind of shading style. Vulpix and Ninetales are pretty good in the original. We didn't feel like we needed to change them very significantly. So Vulpix gets some features just to emphasize its fox side, mostly just to add detail to the design. So there's the chest hair, the cheek puffs, and the charred look on the legs. We also inverted the curl of the hair and the tails to something that felt a little bit more natural, and it also goes better with our take on Ninetales. We wanted to emphasize Ninetales' elegance, so we gave it the slimmer body of Alolan Ninetales, and we also gave it very long, flowy tails that were partly inspired by Ninetales, the enemy from Okami. The ghostly flames at the tip of its tail are supposed to represent both its fire type and its supernatural powers. The kitsune of Japanese folklore are often depicted with a ball or pearl called a kitsune bidama, which is white but glows with a mystical fire, and the kitsune are very protective of it. So that's where the jewel on Vulpix and Ninetales' chest comes from. And because the kitsune will do anything to get it back, that also ends up being a reference to Ninetales' vengeful nature. That's it for today's Spotlight. As usual, you can visit the new 151 on Tumblr to see everything that we've done so far. The link is in the description, and we'll be posting Farfetch'd on there pretty soon. If you like what we're doing, please let us know in the comments. You can follow us on Tumblr, and you should also check out Infinipede on Twitter. And of course, you can subscribe on here. And hey, if you don't like what we're doing, critiques are welcome as well. I'm Umbreon Libris. I'll see you in the next chapter.